yo, what's bum with you, though? It's your boy Carol, and we're back not for a Wi-Fi battle or a review or anything like that. More or less a discussion video, if that makes sense. About one of the big things about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee that has a whole community and kind of a turmoil. And that is the whole, there's no wild Pokemon battles anymore. If you don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know if you're interested in the game. It's been, news has been out there for months now, but if you don't know, there's no wild Pokemon battles in this game. The way the Pokemon battles work in this, or the wild battles, the trainer battles work the same, but the wild battles, essentially, there's no grass, you just walk in, there's like overworld Pokemon sprites, right? The Pokemon will be walking around, you walk into them, and then it kind of triggers like a whole Pokemon Go kind of feel, like, you know, all you do is throw a Pokeball, so you throw the occasional berry to make them easier to capture, but you don't send out your own Pokemon to weaken them or anything like that. It's just the Pokemon Go, like throwing the ball, throw the berries, and all that stuff. So I want to talk about if that's a good or bad thing, because I know a lot of people say it's bad, and I'm not sure if it's actually that bad. So I list some pros and cons, and we're going to talk about what those pros and cons are. So let's get into it. So the first pro that I can think of, I don't think a lot of people have thought about this, is that you're going to be saving a lot of money. Now, money in Pokemon games has never been hard to come by, but let's be honest, the moment you start to get money in Pokemon games, you always buy 20, 30, 50 Super Repels. In this game, you're never going to be buying Repels because you can just walk around the Pokemon since they're in the overworld. Heck, Repels have been replaced with the exact opposite thing. If you look at some of the trailers, there's items called Lures, which actually make more Pokemon spawn for a certain amount of time. So it's actually crazy that before you buy a whole bunch of Repels, and now you're not going to be buying Repels anymore. You're probably going to be buying Lures, but in general, you're not going to be getting into as many wild Pokemon battles because you can just walk around all those caves filled with Zubats. You can just walk around the Zubat. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I think that's a big plus right there. All those caves, all those Zubats and Geodudes. You catch that one Zubat, you catch that one Geodude, you have them for the Pokédex, and you never have to encounter another one again if you don't want to. I think that by itself is a great pro. The second pro that I can think of off the top of my head is that you'll be able to see exactly which Pokemon you're gonna catch, you know? So I'm not sure how fishing will work and stuff like that, but as far as like the wild grass goes, let's say you go into a route and you really just want to find that Growlithe or Vulpix because you want that fire type to your team. But you don't want to, but in normal Pokemon games, you have to see like 5 Pidgeys or 5 whatever Pokemon before you find that Vulpix or Growlithe. In this game, you can just walk around those Pokemon, ignore them completely, and wait till the Vulpix or Growlithe spawns, and then just go for that Pokemon. You know exactly what you're going to try to catch, so you can just avoid all the in-between. So that's another good pro to this game. You know, you don't have to go into the grass and do 10 encounters just to find that one Pokemon you want. All you have to do is just spot it in the grass and just go for him. And the third pro I can think of is that you will have better and stronger Pokemon overall. And this actually goes more into the whole battling part of it. So let's say you're doing an in-game playthrough. Let's say you're not even worried about competitive, but you do know what good natures are. So let's say you're playing and you find a Ghastly, right? Now, you found a bashful or serious Ghastly, you probably keep it just because it's an in-game playthrough, you don't really care. But if you caught a brave Ghastly, you'd probably just try to catch another one, because you wouldn't want to, you know, play the game with a brave Ghastly. That's terrible. That's plus attack minus speed for us who don't know. That's terrible for Gengar. But the way you gain experience in this game, since you're not battling, you gain experience through catching more and more Pokemon. So if I'm going to be catching 20-something Ghastlies anyway, just to level up my Pokemon and get stronger, I can just use the Ghastly, which has the best nature. So if I catch, like, let's say I catch 5 or 6 Ghastlies, right? Just grinding, get my experience up. Then, even if the first one I caught was brave, if I find a timid or a modest Ghastly, I can just use that one instead. It might have a higher CP. So, you know, right off the bat, I know it has better IVs. It has a better nature. I can just use that Ghastly instead. So by the time you get to the Indigo Plateau, the Elite Four, the end of the game, you might have a team of like perfect natured Pokemon because you know because you're gonna be catching so many of the same type of Pokemon just by playing the game naturally that you can just pick the one with the best nature. So that's crazy. Like even for in-game, you're gonna have a team of Pokemon with the absolute best natures. I think that's great. I think honestly that by itself is an amazing feature. I think that's a big pro. But that's all the pros I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably more, but I'm just doing this off the top of my head. So let's get into the cons. Now the first con, and it's a pretty big con, I won't lie to you, I really will not lie to you, is that grinding will be pretty damn slow. Because let's be honest, if you're grinding Pokemon so like that, let's say you have your level 36 Charizard, he has Flamethrower, you can just go through all these wild Pokemon battles, click Flamethrower, get the experience, get out of there. Find another Pokemon, Flamethrower out of there, Flamethrower out of there, Flamethrower out of there. Just repeat and repeat until you get those levels. It's a very fast process. In these games, since you're not battling and it's all about catching Pokemon, grinding is gonna be a lot slower unless the Pokemon give a lot more experience, you know what I mean? Because it's probably gonna be, you're probably not gonna be catching the Pokemon on the very first Pokeball unless it's like the first round, something like that. Plus, you can miss the Pokeball. If you throw the Pokeball to the side, you might miss the Pokemon altogether. So, like, let's say you get to the high end game level places of the game, like Victory Road. You're probably not catching a Machoke in a single Pokeball or Great Ball. So, grinding is going to be significantly slower because you're going to be sitting there, you know, throwing all these Pokeballs and Great Balls at these Machokes and all these other strong Pokemon that might not have the easiest catch rate, just to get the same experience, or what I'm assuming is going to be roughly the same experience than you would have gotten in the old games by just killing it. Now, I do know in one of the interviews they did say that the wild Pokemon do have boosted experience, so they will give a little bit more. But since the only place we saw in this game so far has been like Viridian Forest and a little bit of Vermilion City, I don't know how much more experience you're getting compared to what the old games are. So that's a pretty big con right there. It's gonna be a lot slower to grind up your Pokemon to high levels. The second big con to these games is that it's motion controlled. So if you're handheld, you have to, you know, move the Nintendo Switch around to try to aim the Pokeball. And if you're playing on TV mode, you have to, you know, fling your wrist, you know, throw the Pokeball with your hand. Like, you're, like, think about the Wii remote. You have to actually, like, use your full hand, like, arm, like, throwing the Pokeball. And while that sounds pretty cool and, like intuitive at first, when you think about how many Pokemon you're gonna have to catch the grind and how many Pokemon you're gonna be catching to play the game, it's gonna be kind of annoying. Because if you're let's say you're laying down in bed one night after work, you're just playing some Pokemon before you're going to bed. You don't want to be moving all around your bed or flinging your arms around. You just want to catch some Pokemon. And then, you know, there's also the people who just can't do that. Like people who have carpal tunnel, people, you know, who have weakness in the wrist and stuff like that. They can't do that for long periods of time. So it's going to be a very hard game for those people to play if they even choose to play the game at all because of that. So, I don't know. Forced motion controls is always a con to me, but this is a big one, especially when it comes into the core fundamentals of the grinding in this game. So that's a pretty big con, I won't lie to you guys there. And the last con, I'm not sure if this is a con, but this is kind of up to you guys to decide if this is a con or not. But there's gonna be less battles in this game because I'm not sure if this is gonna be a Versus Seeker. I doubt there is. Versus Seeker's a pipe dream. I really hope it does come back. But assuming there's no Versus Seeker, then if there's no wild Pokemon battles, the only things you're going to be throwing your Pokemon out against are going to be legendary Pokemon and trainer battles. And if the trainer battles are limited other than like Elite Four, then you're not going to be doing nearly as many battles if you're not battling wild Pokemon. You're just catching them. So that depends, because, you know, there's some people who might see this as a pro because they don't want to have to go through the animation of, you know, sending out Charizard every single Rattata that pops up in the grass. But at the same time, it's gonna take away that battling area, you know, it's gonna take away a lot of those, you know, those small battles, you know, so I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say with this. It's up to you guys if you think that's bad or not, that they're taking away those wild battles, because there's gonna be less battles in general because of that. That could be good for some people, that could be bad for some others, so depends on your playstyle, I don't know, but that's the last con I can really think of, if you can count it as a con. And those are the main points I can think of for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, for the whole no wild battle / overworld Pokemon part of the game. So what's your guys' opinion on it? I love the fact that there's going to be overworld Pokemon. I'm not sure how I feel that the wild battles are going to be gone, but I don't honestly mind the whole catching mechanic in this game. I'm really excited for the catching mechanic. I do wish there was more battles to it, or an option for it. But I'm perfectly okay with Pokemon Go capturing mechanics. I'm just waiting to see how it is when I actually play the game with my Nintendo Switch. So, what do you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe for more. I'm gonna try to upload more Pokemon content until the launch of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, because once those games come out, you know your boy's gonna be back with the TM guides, you know your boy's gonna be back with those Wi-Fi battles on Nintendo Switch with that nice, crispy graphics of the Nintendo Switch, because I already have an Elgato capture card, so you don't have to worry about that. But with all that being said and done, hope you guys enjoyed Care Studio, and I'll see you guys for probably the next Pokemon Let's Go discussion video. I'm out.